It's the franchise. I want to say hello to my father. This is the franchise episode number 129. And this is your host, Daniel Ehrenberg, your co-host, Henry Papali, over there, not upon the ones and the twos, as I am. We're still covering the Thin Man. The Thin Man's going home this week. He's also singing a beautiful song. And I'd like to introduce my co-host. Here he is.
Hello, everybody. Apparently, it's, 2018, I guess, if we're in episode 129. I like that.
I meant
like
229.
Right the clock back a little bit. Wish we all could. It's actually episode 213.
Oh, I wasn't even close.
That's okay. And those bonus ones, they screw you up.
Feels like more. Feels like a lot more.
Well, it is a lot more. If you count the Patreons, I mean, we're way up there. Yeah. But official number.
Oh, god damn. Henry, I just had the first sip of a great triple berry seltzer. And sometimes those first sips, they'll knock you for a loop. They're so good.
I have a whole thing of triple berry out there. Right now, I got my Poland Spring Black Cherry, which is my favorite flavor.
Not mine, I have to say.
And a lime here.
Delicious, delightful, and delicious.
Yeah. But yeah, this is us. We will be wrapping up our coverage of the 1930s and 40s. I'm sure we'll return at some point, absolutely. But this is for Dan's dad. And I'm pretty sure that all of you are enjoying it, too. I know that you are.
Eventually, we'll even return to director Richard Thorpe from this week. Yeah, we'll get into some of these directors and writers, because we're saying goodbye to W.S. Van Dyke. Wouldn't check himself into a hospital despite searing chest pains and just let himself die.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't let himself. He killed himself, right?
Yes, right, because we were trying to figure out the moral conundrum of Christian Scientists.
Right.
They will not seek medicine, but is it okay to kill yourself? I imagine it is not. But,
well, I don't know. He weighed out his options, decided that his God, the science God, cares more about all the medicine issues than he does about a deadly sin.
I like the oxymoron that is Christian Science. That's something that always fascinated me.
I know.
I will say one thing about Christian Science. They really write a hell of a book review. Whenever I'm looking at books and, book
the
reviews,
Christian Science Monitor.
Yeah, they
ever present.
They write good book reviews. I'm going to say that. There's no religious bent to that. They have actual smart people writing them. It's very odd.
I wonder if it's like the same guy. He's just been stuck writing for the Christian Science Monitor for 30 years. He's one of the great book reviewers of our time. He keeps submitting to the Times, and they're like, I'm so sorry. We only hire people who go to doctors.
Yeah, you're totally right. He could be submitting to Kirkus and the London Times and Harper's, but they just see that on the resume. They're like, you got this kind of blemish on your resume. I'm sorry. And, it's
tough. He's not getting work because of his religion, which is technically unlawful. But, it says it right there in the title of his publication.
Yeah, it's hard to put that off. I mean, you could do. I work for the CSM. Don't worry about it. It's an acronym.
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah, maybe he abandoned it too, like a long time ago. Wouldn't that even be worse? Like if he stopped believing in the religion, but he's just stuck writing for that publication.
He can't get any other work. He's still got to. I know. Can you imagine writing book reviews for Scientology after getting disabused by them?
That'd be like me writing reviews for the Catholic Book Weekly, and then I was like, oh man, I haven't been in that for 30 years. Can we? Yeah, that'd suck.
Or writing reviews for the Mormon newsletter when you've already been committed to outer darkness.
Yeah. That's got to be an issue for a lot of people.
For sure.
I think so.
Oh, Henry, what a
tune in.
Just meaningless, fucking yammering nonsense.
Yeah, I love it. But we do have some specialties for you this week, folks. We have rankings of the 6 Thinman movies, and we also have our top 10 movies of the 1940s.
Let's do that first. We're spending
how do
some
you feel
time.
to do than the 30s. I'll just say that.
Well, it's a much better decade for film, I would say.
Yes, and also I've just seen more. So I tried to limit my Disney entries because, boy.
Well, they were on fire in the 40s, man. They were making a lot of movies, and they're all stone cold classics.
I know. I had to leave out 2. I put in 2, and I then still had to leave out an Orson Welles film, which feels wrong. But,
yeah, I left out one of those, too. All right, well, let's talk about it. Yeah, top 10, baby. What's your number 10 film of the 1940s?
All right, this is the only one in here that's pretty much a sentimental favorite. It actually came up on the show last week or the week before. But hell, it was made in the 40s, and I love it. And that is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Pretty sure that's the 50s.
You're wrong, but you can go ahead and fact check me there.
I'd love to fact check you on that.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yeah, I know. I was a little surprised myself, but
well, in the meantime, I'll tell you that my number 10. Oh, you're right. 1948. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Right. Yeah.
It's a dumb movie.
It's a great movie. It's funny and
it's okay.
Got all the classics in there. Yeah.
All right, Henry, my number 10 is a little, maybe a little smarter, maybe.
Well, I expected your list to be very full of snobbery, so let's get going. Yeah.
All right, my number 10 is The Red Shoes.
I've seen it and didn't make my list. In fact,
not as good as Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
It's actually not that great a movie. I think it's extremely boring.
What a beautiful masterpiece it is.
I rated it on Letterboxd. I think I gave it a 3 or a 4.
Oh, thank you. The Red Shoes would like to thank you for your 3 or 4. What's number 9?
This was tough for me to put on here because I never want to watch it again. But someday I'll find some type of this joy, I guess. I'm not as joyless a person as Dan, but this is but it's a classic. It's a great movie. I grew up with it. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. There it is, a Christmas classic. Henry's only putting movies on this list that they will air on New Year's Day on Channel 11 WPIX.
God, I know. It's sad. I'll never watch it again, I imagine, but
I probably will. My number 9 is the great Double Indemnity.
Of course. No, that I've never seen.
I mean, it's a pop boiler, man. You can't give me shit for that one.
No. That's Barbara Stanwyck, right?
Yeah, a great mystery, keeps you on your toes. The Thinmen would be jealous. They probably were.
Yeah, they might have been.
Right, also, a little bit of a con man vibe. I bet David Mamet was really into that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I think a lot of people probably Double Indemnity, right? Like Brian De Palma probably loves that.
Yeah,
shit.
Brian De Palma for sure. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, go for it. 8.
Number 8. All right, here we go. This is, this made the cut. This could have really been a flip flop of any of these, but Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. He went with Pinocchio. He relates to it. He's pretty wooden, and he lies a lot. And he's a grower, not a shower.
Right, and there's a lot of Italian stereotypes in that movie. That's going to be great.
It's Geppetto.
Yeah, I actually can't wait to rewatch that movie. Isn't also the main villain like this guy with this awful Italian with a. I
don't remember the villain. I only ever remember the whale.
The puppet master in it. I know. Yeah, it's got to be great stuff. But yeah, it's got Jiminy Cricket. It's got when Disney wrote good songs. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Beautifully animated, too.
It is. Oh, I forgot. Should probably compliment the animation.
Yeah. Number 8 for me is my number 8 film of the 1940s is the American Film Institute's best movie ever made. Here it is, Citizen Kane.
Number 8.
That's right.
Oh, you know when you were writing that was bold. You knew you were writing a bold thing right there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Good for you.
It's not Orson Welles' masterpiece to me, and it's only his second best movie of the 1940s.
Wow. All right. I mean, it's on my list higher, but I didn't put my actual personal favorite movie as my number one. I wanted to, but I just didn't.
Well, this is your personal list, so you could do anything you want.
Well, yeah, but we always kind of we kind of go a little bit.
No, I think you were just afraid I was going to give you shit.
No, yes, I fear.
I think you do. You fear me.
Dan, I fear Dan and my opinions. That's been evident.
I create an
years.
Atmosphere of dread on this show, I think.
Right. Maybe on other people's shows.
That's definitely true.
Fuck yourself. I don't really care.
All
right. Number 7. Boy, as I'm reading this list out loud, it's getting tougher and tougher to say it out loud. No, it's not. I don't care. We get into the heavies very soon. But hey, number 7. 4 stars, not 5, though, because of one sequence, and that is Fantasia.
What's the one sequence you don't like?
Always had a problem with the Ponchielli Dance of the Hours when they get the hippopotamuses wearing ballet.
I guess. I still like it,
really stupid, yeah.
My number 7 is also Fantasia.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I chose one Disney. They really were on fire in the 40s. They also had Bambi, which I love, and Dumbo, which I love, and Pinocchio, which is very good also. And so, that's my number 7, but that's just...
You picked that.
It's sort of like my number 7 is Walt Disney in general.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was actually going to leave one, either Pinocchio or Fantasia off there, but probably Pinocchio, but I don't know. All right. Number 6 for me. This is a great movie, and it's a great book. Phenomenal movie. I don't know if you've seen this movie. I'll be very interested if you have.
Maybe you should say the title of it.
It's a build-up. Much like the book, it's a long read. It's a long build. Yeah.
I hate you. You're just punishing me.
Number 6. Oh my! I woke up with a shoulder.
I hate your guts.
Yeah, my rotten, stinking guts.
I hate your rotten guts. It's my Morgan Freeman impression, everybody.
Fantastic. All right, The Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, incredible film. Yeah. My number 6 is French. No, not a French film. It's an Italian film, of course. And, when I first saw it, it had a different name. But they realized that the translation was wrong. And so when they put it out on the Criterion Collection, they changed the name. And so now it is referred to as Bicycle Thieves.
I knew you were going to say that. That's one of those movies, like, whenever I talk to film nerds, they just, like, look at me when I say
You'd love it. You'd love it. I really think you would love that. Because it's not pretentious. It's like a good time. It's a fun time movie.
The Bicycle Thief. Yeah, what's that Italian title? Oh, right, Bicycle Thief. Yeah.
See, it was The Bicycle Thief when I saw it in college, and now it's Bicycle Thieves.
Thieves?
Yeah.
So there's more than one.
Well, there is. It's a father and son.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. I never heard that. All right. That's your number 6. Should we play the theme?
I think we should hear it.
Heavy hitters. These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
It's a great movie. It's Ray Milland.
Uh-huh.
And this is called The Lost Weekend.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, I watched that a couple of years ago. I'd never seen it. I'd heard a lot about it. It lives up to the hype. It is really amazing.
What are they doing on this weekend? Getting crunked?
Yeah.
Fucking everything that moves?
Well, no, Ray Milland just plays an alcoholic, a hopeless one. And it's not like done in kind of like a way you'd think for that era. It's just done in like a very straightforward terrifying way, and he's just really, really good. And
It's
everybody.
an alcoholism movie by Billy Wilder. How the fuck have
Yeah.
I not seen that?
I don't know, because you're a fan of his. Yeah. It's great.
Won Best
It's-
Picture that year.
Oh, okay, sounds right. Yeah,
What the
I mean,
fuck? It's one
a
of the
hell of a
few I
movie.
haven't seen.
But you know it, right? You've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I guess I didn't realize it was that important. Okay, I gotta see that.
Great. It's great. Yeah, good.
All right,
You don't-
mine.
You don't hear that from Dan very often.
No,
ladies
you
and
don't.
gentlemen.
You don't. I give you
My
credit
list.
for that choice. My number 5 is the first of 2 Hitchcock movies on the list, and it is Rope.
All right, of course. My number 4 is a movie I actually got to see in a theater on some kind of. I was going through my. As I'll never forget, I never complimented you on this when you called me a few weeks ago. You said, "What a pretentious bitch you were when you were younger." I love that. It's so accurate.
Well, yeah.
And this was my pretentious bitch phase. And anyway, I'm glad I had it because I got to see movies like this. And this is the Robert Mitchum, Kirk Douglas. I can't remember the dame in it. Out of the Past.
Oh, all right.
You ever see that one?
No.
Hell of a movie.
My number 4 is the second of the 2 Hitchcock movies on my list. It's Lifeboat.
All right. Cool. Number 3, I mean, probably my personal favorite, but it's hard for me to do it because I feel like the other one movie's probably better. Number 3, I love this movie. I'll watch this for the rest of my life. I've seen it many times. That is The Third Man.
Yeah. Great. It actually didn't make my top 10, but I love that movie.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I love that movie very much. Great soundtrack on the Zither. One of the best soundtracks ever made, period.
Okay.
That's a fact.
My number 3 is, to me, my favorite Orson Welles movie of all. I think it's his masterpiece, The Magnificent Ambersons.
Oh, never saw it. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
What did you think
and
I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say the one I had to leave off, which is The Lady from Shanghai.
I had to leave that off, too. It's great. It's totally
It is.
great. It just didn't make my top 10.
No, I'm with you. I saw that at a theater in Pittsburgh, and the projector broke at least 7 or 6 times. They kept changing the reel because it was a great experience.
Mm.
So a lot
That's
of
the way to watch that movie, I would say.
yeah, when the film explodes and melts, kind of thing kept.
I
happening.
love that, actually. I haven't seen that happen I guess because everything's digital now.
Yeah, that was probably in '97.
Yeah.
I think 97.
Yeah, in the
I saw that.
90s, I feel like that would happen like twice a movie.
Oh, it happened all the time. But I remember that one specifically because I was very excited to see an Orson Welles movie on the screen, and it was pretty fucked up. But I still got a good chance.
Yeah, I don't think I
I
ever
got an
have.
idea. I got an idea of the film.
Sure. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is generally considered the greatest movie ever made. I wouldn't agree with that assessment, but it is unbelievable, and that is number 2, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, when we say, like, we don't think it's the best movie ever made, we still think it's, like, one of the
Yeah.
best movies ever made.
Exactly. Right. It's not sacrilege, folks. It's
Yeah.
been movies since 41.
Yeah,
I
that's when
mean-
they started.
It's a little nuts. I think it's a little nuts. I mean, I get it, but I mean, and I've seen it multiple times. It's not like I watched it out of obligation. I've seen it multiple times. It's amazing, but
Out of obligation. It's so funny how film nerds think.
well, that was 20.
It's ridiculous. None of us ever have to see anything.
Yeah, well, I don't often live like that now, but yeah, that one was but I think I don't own it anymore. I had it on video.
It's amazing how many like classic movies I've started and like been totally not into for 20 minutes and like powered through, and sometimes they become masterpieces and sometimes like they just don't.
Yep.
But like you feel an obligation, and it's bullshit. It's just in our stupid warped brains.
Yeah, you're right, because we don't really do that, I don't feel. I've done it with this, but I don't, like, you and I specifically, I don't do it with books. Like,
I used to.
me too. and sometimes there'll be one, but like I think it's because you start to develop your own taste, right? And you develop like also a sense of self more where you're just like,
But there's still that thing in film where
Yeah.
like it nags at you if there's something you haven't seen.
Yeah, it does, and it's also easier with film than it is with books, because a film you just sit and watch for a couple hours. A fucking book is like a project if it's like some massive tome. I mean, I never read War and Peace.
Right.
But I don't say I won't ever.
I won't ever.
Okay.
Fuck that shit. I'll never read Tolstoy. Leave me alone. I've got enough going on. It'd be an assault to my senses to read that.
Oh man, I want to read it.
All right, we'll have fun with that. My number 2, listen, Disney was on fire. They were making adaptations of fairy tales, basically. They're all great. Then, now they're doing these live-action Disney movies that are also just adaptations of fairy tales. They're all fucking horrible. To me, my number 2 film of the 40s is basically a live-action adaptation of a fairy tale. That's all it is. It's the amazing, heart-stoppingly beautiful Jean Cocteau adaptation of Beauty and the Beast.
Wow. Okay, I never saw that. Yeah,
beautiful.
But I have the visual in my head. There's some very famous stills from that movie for forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was ahead of its time in the makeup and shit.
All right. Wow. Jean Cocteau. All right. Very nice. All right. The best movie of the 1940s.
But wait, what's the one you really think is the best movie of the 1940s?
My personal favorite?
Yes.
The Third Man.
Okay. You should have just made that number 1.
It's tough for me to overlook this one because you know what? This was hard.
I know what you're gonna say. It's my number 1 too.
I came real late to the party on this movie. I didn't see this movie for a long, long, long time, and then when I was like in my early 20s,
You felt an obligation.
Exactly. But I got it right away. It wasn't one where I had to like power through and then be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
No, it's awesome from like frame 1.
I guess we have the same number 1, and I'm actually surprised it's yours too. And that is Casablanca.
No, of course, it's a perfect movie. It's if anyone asks me what's a perfect movie, I think Casablanca is the most perfect movie ever made.
Tell me more. Why?
Like, does she have a car? Sorry, that was a Grease reference.
Oh God,
Henry, what do you mean? Tell you more? It's just.
No, because I agree, but you've probably seen it more than me, so
I don't know that. I've only seen it twice.
All right, yeah, I don't know that I've seen it all the way through more than 2 or 3 times, probably just twice. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is. I mean, it's just this.
It's one of those screenplays where like every line you're like, oh, that's like, I bet that's like a famous quote, and then like the next line you're like, I bet that's a famous quote. I mean, it's not. I'm saying it in like history context, but also like you just watch it and it's an awesome story. It's a love story that you totally get invested in. It is the only viable reason for abandoning someone and making them think you're dead, i.e., ending up in a concentration camp. And I mean, it's the action is good. The villains are bad. The ending is the best ending in movie history.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to say?
Right,
the performances are perfect.
You covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels huge, and it's the kind of movie that, like, on the surface, like, it's so epic that, like, when I think about it, I feel like it's 3 hours long, but it's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't read
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had in my head that it's 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what you think because it's such a big fucking movie. And it looms so large.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Look at that. Didn't expect it. Number 1 movie, Casablanca. There you go, folks. Ingrid Bergman. Wow.
That's right. One of my top 2 I Bergmans.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Hour and 42 minutes, by the way. I had that almost exactly right.
I would have never said that if that was a question on Jeopardy. I'd have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Henry, let's talk about it. Oh, wait, do you have any honorables? I had a few written down, just real quick.
Yeah, I already.
I hit most of them. Key Largo and Gaslight were close, but yeah.
I had Lady from Shanghai, Dumbo, Bambi, and I think I might have added maybe one of these Thinman movies we're talking about tonight.
Ooh,
but
Thinmans.
But it didn't make the HMs. Wasn't quite there.
All right, well, let's talk about him. Thinman goes home. That's what happens first.
Yeah.
It's been a few years. Myrna Loy's been working for the Red Cross.
Yeah, she's a saint, if we didn't establish that last week. Yeah.
They tried to get the franchise back on the ground in 1942, 1 year after the last one, of course. And Myrna Loy turned down the movie. The studio briefly considered replacing her with Irene Dunne. And in a very early case of this, the news leaked to the public, and the public rebelled. Said, we will not see a Thinman without Myrna Loy.
Is that right?
That's right.
Wow. I mean, wow. That would be ridiculous. That's
They probably wrote letters to the newspapers.
Telegraph.
Fuck Irene Dunne, stop.
To Louis B. Mayer. Louis B. Mayer is sitting in his office. What did I get on the telegraph today, son? They don't seem to like Irene Dunne, Skip. I guess we're going to have to stick with Myrna as soon as she's done patching up GIs.
That's right. All right, so that didn't happen. So another Thinman movie does not get made until 1945. That's a 4-year wait from the last one, and they do look a little older. Him more than her.
Oh, I was actually going to say I thought she did a little bit.
Oh, really? I felt that way maybe in the last one, but I thought she was looking pretty fucking fine in this one.
Oh, I'm not saying that. She looks amazing. 4 years have passed, so sure, absolutely.
All right.
A little worse for the wear. It's all right.
A little bit.
It was a tough time to be 4 years were rough.
It's
and
true.
I don't blame her if she doesn't look good. Imagine the shit she saw in those 4 years.
You're right.
Think about that.
She's had a heavy life.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Powell's, what's he doing? He's just
drinking, probably. I don't know. He was killing wives.
Yeah. He was attending Van Dyke's funeral.
He was attending a lot of funerals, that guy.
Yeah, he was.
All right, listen. This guy, Richard Thorpe, let's talk about him. He's our new director.
Yeah. I think he does decent. He handles it well.
What a serviceable performance. This guy, he's probably best known for a film he didn't direct, Henry.
Uh-oh.
How about this? He, in a real Eric Stoltz Back to the Future situation, was the original director of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
He fucking shot The Wizard of Oz for like a couple weeks, and the studio was like, we gotta get rid of this guy. He sucks.
Really? Really?
They fired his ass, replaced him, became one of the big movies of all time.
I thought you were going to say he quit, like didn't like it or something. I didn't know that.
No.
They fired him. Wow.
No, I read that he was making up Judy Garland to look like, I'm a little baby. like he was giving her like polka dots on her cheeks, and like just tons of blush.
He wasn't getting it.
No, he wasn't getting it.
Yeah, what they're going for there. Okay. All right. So Dickie Thorpe's gone.
Yeah.
But well employed anyway, so.
Oh, he's an MGM director. Like one of these guys. He's on the payroll. He directs like 3-4 movies a year for MGM. Yeah. This movie was written by Robert Riskin and Dwight Taylor. I don't really know much about either of them. Riskin is actually a big deal, though.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, he wrote It Happened One Night, and he worked with Frank Capra a lot. He was married to Fay Wray, Henry.
Fay Wray. I know that name very well, but I can't think of why.
Henry, my father is judging you right now.
Here's
what my father is thinking. Youth these days, I thought everybody still knew who Fay Wray was.
I have to say though, I wonder. I don't know. I didn't ask you, but I hope that your dad's a little impressed over the last couple of weeks with some of my knowledge of
He's
this time
definitely
period.
impressed by me.
I don't know about that. Probably lacking a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah.
All right. My internet's going very slowly right now, which
Oh.
is why I'm not looking these people up quickly. I don't
worry
know
about
why
it.
that
What do you
is.
want me to- I got a good thing here.
All right, Riskin. I wanted some of his credits. Right, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. You can't take it with you. That was his shit for Capra, and it happened one night. Won him an Oscar. So he's actually a little bit of a big deal. This guy.
It's kind of a big deal. Yeah, you're absolutely
Dwight
right.
Taylor was probably hired more for jokes or whatever. He wrote Top Hat. That's his biggest credit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Top
And
Hat.
Fay Ray was fucking in King Kong.
Yeah, of course.
Jesus Christ. All right, guess that's why I know her. Yeah.
I guess. All right,
Top
Henry.
Hat.
Well, that was a big movie, Top Hat.
Yeah. I know. All right.
All right. The movie was released January 25th. Wow. A day after my father's birthday, although he was not born yet. How about that? How about that? Now my dad knows that I know his birthday.
Well, you certainly should. Jesus.
Do you know your dad's birthday?
Of course.
What is it?
February 18th, 1937.
37. He's old.
Yeah.
All right.
Not to shame you, but
No. All right. Budget of $1.4 million, and it made $2.8 million. Did all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start talking about it.
All right.
First
yeah.
things first, the credits. I think we need a credits redesign. It's 4 years later. We should be presenting this like we've been gone a while. Here's
An
a big
event.
new Thinman.
Yeah, it's an event. I know. It's maybe it's the old familiarity, breeds affection type thing. I don't know. I mean, but they're a little tiresome. I mean, we get the same old kind of goofy well, no, like you said last week, the serious music and then followed by the goofy music. Although the goofy music comes in before the Asta credit.
I know.
It's already getting there,
And this isn't Asta in this movie.
Right.
This is the beginning of fake Asta.
I couldn't bring myself to believe that.
I noticed it. I thought Asta sucked in this one.
Oh, get out of here.
Asta was bullshit in this movie. They got a different fake Asta for the next one, and this guy's got the chops.
Do you think if that would have leaked out that Louis B. Mayer would have gotten telegraphs on
I
that?
bet you. I 100% bet you. There is no way they were You know what? That's why in the this is Conspiracy Theory Central. That's why in the last movie they changed it to Asta as Asta. That's so they could keep that credit up. It's just a lie.
Right, because they didn't want to say it's not Skippy.
Yeah. I say justice for Skippy.
Just I think Skippy was fine. He got a lot of work. I mean,
He got a lot of work, but he was misnamed on half of it.
Well, he didn't have a good agent, obviously, because a good agent.
I can't believe the owner of
cannot
Skippy
do-
let
Right.
him be credited as Asta.
Yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm furious.
He's got a bone to pick with that choice, am I right?
All right, so they're at a train station.
Great cut, folks.
Leave me alone.
Great cut. I like it. Dan laughed so much at my joke.
I laughed so hard that I fucked up the recording for a second.
Oh, it's really good. I like it.
All right,
So
they're at a train station, so we're like, what's going on here? Where are they now? What globe hopping bun? Well, they never leave the country.
no, but they're always moving around the country.
That would be a good one. Why didn't they ever do that? The Thinman, Les Thinman.
I said that.
For they're in Paris, Les
I said
Thinman.
that last week. That'd be great. Le Thinman. Le Thin Garçon.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Le Garçon skinny.
You're on fire today.
Les gentlemen garçon thing. I can't remember.
All right. So at the train station, Asta gets his best moment of the movie, I'd say. But I have a big problem with it, of course. So he sees a female dog
Yes.
with a bow. You know she's female because she's got a bow.
It's like a Disney film. We know
Yeah.
the girls from the boys with the bow. Yeah.
And he goes over and starts to flirt with her and stuff. And I'm still thinking about the subplot in the second Thin Man movie where there's a Mrs. Asta and he has a family. And, you know, we're now done with the Thin Man movies. We've watched all
Yeah,
6.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
never brought up again that he has a wife.
No, it is not. It is not. The matrimony is not spoken of.
So I don't know. That was
Yeah.
a subplot in the second movie that they decided didn't work as an ongoing thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I
It was
mean,
just for
it's
that
still
cutesy one.
just watching them back to back to back like this, thinking about continuity, it's just so fucked up. This is the 5th Thin Man movie. They're going to Nick's hometown to visit his parents.
Yeah. Right.
They bring Asta the dog. They leave home all of the fucking, you know, his entire family.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, I have to say, no Nicky Jr. in this movie.
By
They
me.
have a son, though, and they're going to visit his grandparents. Don't you think they'd bring him?
Yeah, that occurred to me right away, but and then they throw that away with a one-liner from Nora, right? She says like, "Oh, he's busy with school or some shit like
But
that."
that's
She says
bullshit. I've never seen a family, like a couple, go to visit grandparents without the kids. It's insane.
It is a little strange. I mean, especially as it's kind of like
They could have brought in the black maid too, as like that would have been a nice little comic relief.
Thank God they didn't.
I know.
Yeah, it does seem like, and it also seems more egregious because it does seem like they haven't visited in a while. Because I think even the mother says, he must be so big now."
Well,
Boy,
Henry,
I wish I could see him.
Henry, like all father-son relationships in movies, Nick's relationship with his father is fraught.
It's very fraught.
Have there ever been,
Yeah, good. I know. Yeah.
we're recording this primarily for my father right now, I would say.
right.
And
Yes.
I'd just like to say, I get along with my dad.
Yeah.
I think he's basically all right.
You have a good relationship.
I know
Good
that he
stuff.
likes me,
Right.
loves me. I know that he
That's
loves
important.
me.
That's important.
And like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like it was perfect. Like, we
Right.
had some fucked up times.
Sure.
One time he took his shirt off and threatened to punch me. I still remember because he took his shirt off, and that's very funny to me. But generally, like, it's so crazy to me. Like, every
Wow.
Steven Spielberg movie ever made
Yeah.
is about how it's hard to get along with your dad, and does he love me, and they don't communicate, and everyone's sad all the time. And
You're right.
it seems like there are so many artists living their entire lives, and they want the primary focus of every piece of art they create to be like, see, daddy?
Yeah, you're very right. And on the opposite spectrum, I feel like movies historically have the total opposite idea about fathers and daughters.
No, they get along. Mothers and daughters
It's
don't.
always right, but it's always
Except for Gilmore
the father.
Girls.
It's always the father-daughter who are always. She calls him daddy, and he's always like daddy's little girl, and they always get along. And that
There's always some fucking bullshit speech about how I know, I care about women because I have a daughter.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, I'm trying to even think of a movie where a dad and a son just had like a normal
Yo,
function.
what's a movie where like a dad and a son are just like they get along, everything's
It's
cool?
totally fine. Yeah. And don't name, you can't name ones where like the father just tolerates the son's shenanigans, because there's a lot of those, like, a lot of Jack Black or Will,
The
we
Simpsons.
tolerate- Yeah, no, I mean just fine. There's no conflict.
Yeah, and it's not like they're best friends either.
No,
It's not like the Gilmore Girls. I just want a movie where there's a dad character and a son character, and they're fine with each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, even our favorite, your favorite director and one of mine, his movies are big time about daddy
Who's my favorite
issues.
director?
Okay, well, one of yours. I would have said contemporary favorite, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no.
His
A
movies
lot of
are
daddy
big
issues in those
time.
movies,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's odd. I don't know, but he's not alone. There's tons of them with that go on and on. and
I'm
on.
searching my brain right now.
I am too. The ones I'm thinking of.
I've seen thousands of movies.
Scorsese. Yeah, no. And they're not even mentioned usually in a lot of Scorsese movies. Dads aren't even part of the picture.
No, actually, he did in his last one, The Irishman, a dad and daughter that didn't get along. So he changed that one up a little bit.
But you're right about Spielberg. I mean, Kubrick doesn't do families really. I mean, if he does, it's
I love you just go through the same like 10 directors.
Yeah, I know. You got to think of random shit, but it's hard. It's not. That's how much it's in our consciousness.
I'm thinking of like dad-son centric movies, and like a lot of times it ends up with them being all right, but the whole movie is about them getting to that place.
Well, the one that I think of that I know you're not a fan of, but I love the movie, and I think it's actually a really beautiful relationship, but it's certainly, like you just said, fraught and then ends up okay, is Ordinary People.
Yeah, there's also Frequency, and there's Field of Dreams. It's the same shit over and over again. You know what? Fucking movie directors, make peace with your shitty fathers. So I can stop hearing about it.
If it's not too late. I mean, they could be dead. I don't know who needs to make issues. But if you're young,
I kind of thought of one.
Okay.
That movie Beginners, where Christopher Plummer's the
Didn't
gay
see it.
dad and Ewan McGregor's his son, they kind of get along all right.
Okay. All right. I never saw Beginners. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good.
That's how long it took me to think of one movie in the history of cinema.
And it's a conflict movie, right? Because isn't it about like the dad?
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out? Yeah. So it's All right. Interesting.
The Thin Man Goes Home. Let's talk about it.
The Thin Man goes right. I like the concept. I actually
Definitely. Listen, the second movie, we spent a lot of time with Nora's family because it was like her sister who was dealing with some shit. And so I felt like that worked and opened itself up to story possibilities, and seeing Nick interact with her family was interesting. And so I'm surprised it actually took them so long. Sure, let's check out what Nick's life was like.
No, I liked it, and there's an element of goofiness, obviously, but this movie kind of got back to being from 4, whatever. What was the fourth one? That was Shadow of the Thin Man. This one kind of got back to being like just a little less complicated, a little more straightforward. The plot's complicated, but not too labyrinthine. So,
it had character motivations more than just being a procedural. Like, I like that it takes place in suburbia, which is like an interesting area that we haven't really approached yet because all the Long Island stuff was so like rich people centric.
Right.
It's just like a small town with secrets. I'm always interested in that.
Absolutely. And it doesn't seem like that, but they hammer it on pretty thick pretty early when he's in the hammock.
And like 1,000 people come. It's just like a procession line of suspects. That's all it is. There's this one sequence where Nick is in a hammock and people just like keep walking up to the hammock and being like, "Remember me? I'm the butcher. I have some motives." And then,
hey Nick, it's Shorty McGraw. Remember me? We were in 5th grade together.
It really is.
Hey Nick, it's Dottie. Remember me from the dance? And at a certain point, I actually did think I felt bad for him because he's out there relaxing on the hammock.
There's nowhere more cozy than a hammock on a warm summer day.
Yeah, and he's just kind of reading, which is not something I knew he could do.
Well, he was napping with like a newspaper on his
right.
chest. We don't have any evidence he was actually reading.
That's a good point. And Nora comes out and spends in what is far too long a sequence, which was funny at first, and then it's dragged out for probably 9 minutes trying to fix up a chair for herself. But
Oh yeah, she gets to do some physical comedy. It isn't great. You're right.
goes on too long. It was a funny joke.
She
at
falls
first.
down like 4 times.
Right. And but during this time I'm like, my God, does this man ever get to just like not talk and just relax? He's
Well, it's
already on the
weird
wagon
because
for
he.
this-
Well, let's talk about that, Henry. That's a
Yeah.
big deal. We set up
Sure
very
is.
early on that Nick is no longer drinking.
Well, no. We set up that he's not going to drink on this trip. His
That's
dad doesn't
yeah.
believe it.
I guess
His
that's
dad
right.
believes in temperance, so he is having cider in a giant flask.
It is a large flat. You got to think he's using that thing normally for
Very
special
strange.
occasions. But yeah, he pulls out the flask to take a sip of cider, and his dad's like, "Oh, already fucking lushing it up, my shitty son." And he's like, "Dad, it's cider," and he doesn't believe him. And Nick makes him take a sip, and it's cider.
Yeah. So Nick has made it through an entire train ride, and at the house, his parents' house, all this stuff. He ain't drinking, man.
I would like to argue, I assume that in the 5 days leading up to the train ride, he was detoxing in a hospital.
I don't imagine a world where that didn't happen.
I can't imagine a world in which Nick stops drinking and doesn't have heart palpitations and the shakes.
I mean, honestly, that may go for Nora too.
No, Nora's not. I feel like Nora is the type who can stop for like 3 days.
Think she cooled off.
Yeah, just for like a
I mean-
couple days. If she
Yeah.
knows, because fucking the Nikki Jr., I really don't think she drank during that pregnancy. This kid came out all right.
He did. He turned into Dean Stockwell.
How is that possible? I mean, we'll talk about that in the next movie, but the kid is Dean Stockwell. He's the fucking guy from Quantum Leap.
Oh my God, that made me laugh so hard when I saw that. I was like,
I lost my mind.
So did I. I was like, there's only one Dean Stockwell. Like, it has to be him. And then I did the math, and I didn't even look it up. I was like, no, of course. It's 1947. It makes sense. He'd probably be.
But I just can't imagine a world in which Dean Stockwell wasn't in his 60s.
Yeah, I know, right? He was in Blue Velvet, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, that sounds right. And,
I mean, he's in so much stuff. But
well,
yeah.
of course, he was one
Yeah.
of the head Cylons on Battlestar Galactica.
I'm sure he turned up in the X-Files at some point. I mean, a lot of that stuff.
I
right?
can only assume. I mean, I've watched every
yeah.
episode of the X-Files. That sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Um,
that's the next movie. But yeah, so you don't think she drank? Okay, so yeah, she cools it. Powell cools it big time. So there really is a very little amount of drinking in this movie, which is interesting.
Yeah. Although Nick's dad at one point finds him face down on the ground with the
Right.
flask. That doesn't look great.
No, he's trying to fix the table, and that leads to some good jokes.
There's a little more
There are.
goofy comedy in the
Yeah.
like all the comedy in the first few movies is very, very verbal, back and forth, especially the first one. Like there's really no physical shit in the first one except for like the air gun or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
just like yap yap yap, joke joke joke, and now we're just like having Nora fall on her ass in the backyard.
Well, because I think that these movies have literally become more physically kinetic. I mean, they weren't as hectic in the first movie, just the first one. Like you're right
Also,
about the
W.S. Van
verbal-
Dyke's one take Dickie or whatever. So
Yeah, that's
physical
true.
comedy takes a second to set up.
Yeah, you're right. He's probably got no patience for that.
Yeah.
And if the gag
A
goes
broken
wrong,
chair? No.
I don't have time for that. Cut, print. Yeah.
Okay. What happens now? We're in Sycamore Springs. That's the town, by the way. I didn't mention that.
Right.
So one of the things they're setting up is Nora wants on this trip Nick to get some love from his dad.
That's the goal.
She's trying to facilitate that. I feel like Nick has accepted his relationship with his father and just knows it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think he really cares. Or you don't think he cares when you're watching the movie. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
But it's
he
pretty-
cares, but I think he accepts it.
Yeah, but she's very, very sweet. And she tells, I mean, I thought this was very funny and instantly jettisoned into the stratosphere for my MVP, finally.
Myrna Loy?
Yeah. This one sequence where she tells
When
his
she
dad-
describes the last movie?
Yeah.
She's
Well,
great.
the last almost several movies, but
I
yeah,
know, but it's just so funny. Like the last movie, what is it, Shadow of the Thin Man?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a throwaway one. Like it's easily the weakest of the first four. And so to hear like a movie coming out 4 years later, like the new Thin Man movie, for them to have enough reference to continuity, it was like a fucking Resident Evil movie. Where
Yeah,
like
it was
all of a
great.
sudden she was like, and then Rainbow Benny, and I was like, seriously, I'm hearing the name Rainbow Benny in this movie.
Yeah.
It's a
It was
pretty
funny.
obscure Thin Man reference.
Yeah, it was an obscure one. That was it. In fact, with the Stinky Daniels or whatever, I didn't even know.
I didn't
even
remember that. I know.
at all. No Dum Dum reference. No, of all the names, no fingers, no
Fingies.
no mean. What was it? Oh, creeps. No creeps.
Sure,
Yeah.
right.
But
Creeps.
she goes on a big rant, and it's just adorable. And she's breathless. and
I love
it's
that
just
we're
so-
both obsessed with Myrna Loy. She's adorable. You're describing her.
Really is.
She's a
I
dead
just-
woman.
I want to be with her. I don't care.
You want to be with her?
Yeah, I don't care.
What is man and wife? You
I
want to
mean-
be Nick. I think this is what we're coming down to. I think Henry would love. It's like his ideal life. Thinking about it, to be a married man, married to like a rich younger woman, and also on the side being a detective like his hero Batman.
Sounds pretty good to me now that you put it like that. Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
is
I don't
your
want
hero.
I don't want the kid though. I would leave that out.
Yeah, I mean you're right. The
And we'd
kid
have
really
to-
brings it down.
Yeah, and we have to sleep in the same bed. I'm not going to sleep in the same bed.
To have
That's
that
it.
life, you wouldn't. I think I would sacrifice sleeping in the same
Okay,
bed.
all right. Fair point. Fair point. You don't. That doesn't negate any activity that might have to happen.
I wish you would love to be a detective. How have you never tried to start an amateur detective agency?
I've actually when I was 20, I actually was very interested in becoming a cop. If you can
A
believe that.
cop? Stop with that shit.
Well,
But
no, a detective. I didn't want to be a beat cop. I wanted to solve cases and be a detective. If you
I
know.
feel like if you were more internet savvy, at some point you would have started a detective agency on the internet.
Hey, I could still. It's still not too late for me to become a private eye. I could still do that. I'm too old to be everything else, but you can actually get your private eye license still.
I don't think you'd bother to get your license. You'd just set up shop.
Just start going.
Yeah.
Can I see your PI license?
You don't have to do like murders. I feel like you would love to just like, is my wife cheating on me? That sort of thing.
I don't know. That's a little sensational for me. I feel like I'd want to do something that would help people. I'm too altruistic.
You're so annoying.
I'm sorry. I know, and I didn't even like saying that. That felt ugly saying that. But I don't think the salacious stuff. Could you see me doing that? I don't know if I'd get.
No,
into
that's
the
more for me.
salacious.
I could do that
Yeah.
for you. I'll go take pictures for you.
Hey, we could be like Perry Mason and fucking Shea Wiggum.
You're right. I'll be Shea Wiggum. You be Perry Mason. It's great.
Perfect.
Oh my God, we got to do it.
Dude.
When
You're
we
living.
move to Antigua and Barbados,
Yeah.
we'll or Barbuda, excuse me.
Barbuda. Yeah.
Shout out to our listeners there.
Yeah, I checked the population there, by the way.
Tell me.
2,000 people.
2000? Well, a few of them are
Hey.
listening to us.
We are the number 3. That's a joke, folks, for the referencing. We are the number 3 podcast in Antigua and Barbuda.
Number
which
3
are the-
film podcast. I would like
Yeah.
to say the top 2 are probably How Did This Get Made and Office Ladies.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, we go down there. We start a private eye firm.
That's what we're going to do.
I'm sure the rules are much more lax.
Listen, I'm sure some of these 2,000 people are cheating on each other.
What better business could we ever do than in a community that's only 2,000 people? There's not going to be any competition, and everyone's going to be looking at each other.
Maybe there is, though. Maybe there's one private eye there, and we're going to come in, muscle in on his territory.
Well, may the best man win.
I love it. Oh. All right, brother. What do we got? What happens next?
Well, so a guy comes to the door, inauspiciously, and immediately gets shot in a very bad special effect. I wasn't even sure if he was shot.
I didn't know what happened to that scene at first.
Me neither, man. And he dies, and we'll get into who he is and all that. But there's also, at the same time, there's a lot of stuff going on in this art quote unquote gallery about paintings and such.
Oh, right. So Nora goes into this. It's like a chop shop.
Nick makes a passing comment on the train about the windmill that they're passing, how he used to see it as a kid. Nora figures for his birthday, because it is going to be his birthday.
Did you watch this morning? You remember every detail.
No, actually, I watched it 2 days ago.
And what an impression it made.
Yeah, well, it was more linear. It was easier to stay with me than some of the other ones. I just feel like there were bigger sequences of that were just I'm as more articulate than I'm being right now.
You're great.
Yeah, the next one didn't stick with me as much, weirdly. Having taken place on a cruise, you'd think it would, but it didn't.
Well, only at the beginning and the end. It's sort of like it fakes you out, like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Totally, that's what I thought of.
It's the reverse of Jason Takes Manhattan, Henry. It's like Thin Man in New York. It's Thin Man on a cruise. That's what the setup is. And then mostly they're just not on a cruise.
Yeah, you're right. It's
bullshit.
No, this one did make an impression. But so she goes there. She wants to buy him this windmill painting. The owner's this fussy guy, and
I liked him.
Keeps saying the word higgly piggly.
Mm-hmm.
And she buys it finally, and Nick turns out he hates it.
So but she was, the guy in the painting store was saving the painting for another customer, and then they come in right after Nora. They're like, I sold it for a lot of money, and they're like,
right.
We needed that painting,
right.
And that seems like it's going to be a really big mystery because we're spending a lot of time on this painting.
We sure are, and I was wrong at the end, even though I knew I would be wrong because of the time period it was made in. I was totally convinced, / not convinced, that there were drugs in the back of the painting. And that's not, of course, not what they would do back in 1940.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. We were scared of spies, I guess, because it was wartime, and
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That's probably how they even got that idea.
Yeah, it's like secret blueprints for for like a military plane or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So basically, the movie is just.
So Nora finds out about this guy getting killed. And, she wants Nick to solve the crime. So she immediately, tells the newspapers about it and says that Nick is going to solve it. And he gets mad at her and spanks her.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird sequence. Yeah.
We saw 2 movies this week. They both feature long spanking sequences. And I guess spanking in vogue in the mid-40s. Dad, let me know.
Especially a long setup as a prelude to the spanking. It's not just done. It's like a whole
That's mostly in
sequence.
The next one. This one, he just bends Nora over his knee in front of his parents and starts whacking at her with a newspaper.
Yeah, it was very
And
strange.
then they cut to Asta applauding.
I thought this dog did a fine job.
This fucking dog. It's so transparent, man. It's like when they changed Fred Flintstone's voice on the Flintstones.
Oh wow, that's really harsh. That's a great point, but really harsh, and I don't think it applies to this fella.
Thank you. Okay, so the guy that was murdered was the painter, right? The guy who painted the windmill painting.
Right, correct.
So there's a lot going on with this painting. Then Brogan, who's this fat friend of Nick's from childhood, is standing in the bushes as the guy's murdered.
Like
and,
1,000 times.
And Nora's like, Nick, I bet you the murderer of the guy who was shot in the back was this guy that was standing right there behind him.
Ah, Nora, honey, sweetheart, mama, that's Bruce Brogan. That can't be him. That's not him.
It's just, yeah, he's my friend. It's not him. We're good friends. We're buddies.
He's friends with Crazy Mary in the shack, and he's a doctor with a sketchy bag, but he is fine. And he's been in the bushes almost the entire movie.
Let's talk about Crazy Mary. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, I thought it was. But
yeah.
This is Dirty Mary. She's a real Boo Radley figure in Sycamore Springs. And she just sort of like lives in a shack and scares people. She's known to smack delivery men in the head with frying pans.
Yeah. Speaking of Friday the 13th, her shack reminded me of Jason's shack in one of those movies.
You're thinking of two.
Okay. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
So it turns out that this crazy lady was the mother of the painter that got murdered. And she never told anybody that she was his mother. She like put him up for adoption or something.
Right.
Or like gave him away.
That's right.
Yeah. And then but she like followed him around all over the
yeah.
place and lives in this town specifically to like look upon him from afar.
Right.
But it doesn't help at all because he's murdered. But that's what's going on with this lady. Nobody knew about this. She's just like this sort of, a spooky story you tell your kids in the town.
Right, and it's also interesting that they never do tell you, or do they, why Brogan is the only one who can talk to her. Why is Bruce Brogan the only one who can?
Because he's a sweet guy, because he's Nick's friend.
Yeah, but he kind of says, she'll talk to me, Nick.
Right, because he's great.
Why?
Because Nick only hangs out with the best people.
That's a good point. We've learned that.
Yeah. Brogan, of course, is suspected by Nora, and we do get a sequence where she follows him around like a spy, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, this is yet another movie, though, of course, where, to your point of a couple of weeks ago, where Nick is constantly just shooing her out of the way,
But you know what? In this one and also the next one, which I agree with you wasn't very good, she does have a lot more to do. What? Because Nick shoos her away, but now instead of just staying at home with nobody alone, because Nick brings Asta everywhere, she is actually taking it upon herself to do some investigation.
Yeah, she gets screen time. She's not shooed away and then never seen by us. Yeah,
that's right. So she's in the pool hall with Brogan. That leads to another brawl, which is now a standard of this film. That's 3 movies in a row.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I like pool room brawls. So.
Sure. Then they find Crazy Mary. She's been killed with her own gun. All right? Which Nick is very impressed by. Like, no fingerprints. And Asta finds the painting behind some shit. And Nick says, Asta, you'll get an extra bone for this, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Asta's wife because she's nowhere to be found.
Because she doesn't exist, yeah. And then, there's 18 minutes left in the movie, and it seems like everyone's gathered at Nick's parents' house, so I guess we're getting ready for the explanation.
Yeah, we always know that now. That's the one nice kind of... albeit watching 6 of them in a row, a little tired and formulaic, but it's cool.
Although that really doesn't happen as much in the last one, and I missed it.
Yeah, because it feels like it really should.
It felt wrong.
Right. It's done in like a public setting in the last one, and this one is like the old 5th gathering of people together in one house.
Yeah. Except for Nick's mom, who has to be in the kitchen making cocoa during this and can't see her son's explanation of the murder. Ridiculous.
She's already proud of him. She doesn't,
women.
That's where she's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she
Get into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Who'd you think it was, Henry?
Oh, wow. What a question. I guess I thought it was, for a while there, Ronson.
Ronson.
the businessman.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I figured it'd be him. But they always clue you in a little too much because he goes through an order of people, and then they all by their reactions, it's always a sketchy
Right, and if
reaction.
he's talking to you early, it's not them.
Yeah. But I did think my other one, I really did think it was going to be which I have to say was extremely funny to me. Laura Bell,
Who's
the
that?
actress who's always acting in every conversation she has with Nick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that a lot. That was very funny. Laura Bell is in acting school, and every time she's talking to Nick, like everything's a dramatic soliloquy. I thought that actress was very funny.
She was all right.
And very famous, apparently. She was in a ton of shit.
Really?
It was huge. Yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
thought the killers were going to be the Drakes, which are they were the couple that were going to buy the painting, right?
Yeah. I just didn't. I ruled them out because they were the first people essentially we met that acted.
But did you watch it with subtitles?
Yeah.
Did you notice how Drake was spelled?
Yes, I did. What the hell was
Draque? I'm looking at that thinking, Que? They're the killers.
Yeah. Drock.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange. That was very strange. Yeah.
Oh, Laura Bell, right. She was good. This was Gloria DeHaven.
Yeah, I knew you didn't know who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did like her, Henry.
Yeah, look
good
at her
job.
Credits. Yeah, her credits are impressive. She's all over the place in the world of film.
She sure was. She worked with Sinatra a few times.
Oh, really? I didn't mean that, but yeah. All right. Well, we don't have to go through it, but yeah, Wait, am I thinking of the right person?
No, I think you're thinking of the next movie.
Whoops. Yeah, her career was just fine, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
The femme fatale in the next movie.
Yeah.
I think on like crazy, really famous shit. All right.
Anyway, whatever. It was the doctor. He faked the autopsy, which is why we had the facts wrong earlier, and he did it with a sniper rifle behind. What's his name? Blaglin. Bordrin.
Who the fuck?
Brogan.
Yeah. But I was pretty hard to believe that bumbling idiot was able to shoot somebody with a Japanese sniper rifle. But hey, it's the movies, and he's nimble enough at his ungainly.
Who knows, dude?
Hundo.
But this is like the 40s. Like maybe he was in like the Civil War or something. There were so many wars back then. I feel like everyone was a veteran.
He could have been a World War I veteran, the Lesser War, as Dan calls it.
I didn't want to bring it up, bring everything down. Fucking boring war.
But Dan has a counter to the PBS special, The Great War. It's just called The Lesser War.
It's not called The Great War. It's just called The War, which is an accurate title.
No, that's Ken Burns' World War II.
Oh, whatever. I didn't watch
talking
it.
about the World War One, which is actually superb.
Let's talk about the great moment at the end, the very end of the movie, where Nick's dad is impressed by Nick's ability to figure out the killer, and so he gives him a pat on the back, and Nick, his posture and his confidence grows so great that he pops a few buttons off of his vest.
Yep, like the Grinch.
And I'm like, this was affecting him that much. Like, his whole life, Nick has, I mean, he has to buy all new clothes now because his posture's better.
Probably just a vest. He's probably got a lot. But yeah, you're right. I mean, well, that's referencing the line early in the movie, remember? Nora says to him on the train, she's like, I bet that would just make your vest buttons pop.
I didn't remember that, but I did remember early on in the movie, like Nick says something like, all I ever wanted, just a pat on the back. That's all I've ever looked for.
She says enough to, make your vest buttons pop. I bet your vest, and of course, yeah, they pop.
Big sound effect. Boop, boop, and then, doodle-dee-dee. Roar. Okay, and that's the movie. What do you give it?
It has issues.
I don't know. Whatever. Like, for Thin Man 5, I thought this was pretty solid. This is a 3.
I agree. Yeah, it's a 3.
Yeah.
I thought you thought I would give it a 4, but I
Oh,
mean, the first one would be
no.
good
I mean,
at 4,
this is
yeah.
clearly a 3.
Yeah, it's a 3, but it's a really good 3. It's a really good
Solid
movie.
3.
and it's
U.S. Marshals.
one of my favorite ones.
Who's your MVP, Henry?
Myrna Loy.
Myrna Loy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Crazy Mary.
Fair point.
I
Fair
loved
enough.
her.
I actually had a difficult time with LVP. I had an easy time in the next one with both. LVP here, I have a question mark. I needed to wait for us to record. I couldn't settle on one. There's a lot of crazy characters. in
I've
the
got
movie, and
one.
They're all good. Oh, shit. I know who this is going to be. Is this going to be a character who barks?
You might say so. Yeah, replacement Asta. That's my LVP.
Asta Imposter.
Least valuable pup.
Oh, boy. Least valuable pup. Yeah, I don't know, man. I
Least
like
valuable
everybody.
pooch.
I don't think anyone turns in a bad performance here, so I'm going to leave
Come on,
that.
you can come up with an LVP for The Thin Man Goes Home.
I liked his dad. I liked his mom.
Think about it. And I just want to say Anne Revere is the name of the actress who played Crazy Mary. I don't like when we don't mention the actresses. She actually is an Academy Award winner, Henry, for National Velvet Best Supporting Actress.
Oh, all right. Interesting. Yeah, okay. You're right. I'll take a quick look here. I got the cast up here. What'd you think of Hilda, their maid, the parents' maid?
A little broad, but I thought she was funny.
Yeah, that she wants his autograph at the end. That was cute.
Oh, I actually didn't like that moment. I liked her all the way through, just being like a weird maid, and then for her to like break character and like fawn over Nick.
Because I think that's all was the reason she was being crazy, because she was such a fangirl.
Oh, I guess that's right, because
yeah, he's famous.
Right,
man.
he's famous, of course. I always forget that. And then in the next movie, he's kind of not famous anymore, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have one. Forget it. I don't
All
have
right,
an
whatever. That's bullshit. It's a cop
Yeah.
out. You owe my
Yeah,
dad.
you do
Dad,
it.
I'll let you know. Superhero count?
0.
Okay, great. All right, let's talk about the next one.
We do have one for the next movie.
Great.
Which was exhausting.
Song of the Thin Man, Henry.
Song of the Thin Man.
What's your favorite song of the Thin Man?
Oh, boy. Well, that would have to be Blow Your Horn. Just kidding. That's my all-time favorite Thin Man song. But in this one, it's the Piccolo tune. The Piccolo tune.
What's Blow the Horn? What's that a reference to?
The fucking first or second movie where she sings a 10-minute rendition of Blow Your Horn
Oh,
and then
yeah.
does it again. And then does it again. Blow your horn. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what is this guy's song? The clarinetist. It's a tune he plays.
I don't know. It's just like some like jazzy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Buddy Hollis.
Dude, Buddy Hollis. I couldn't believe my ears.
Bizarre. I mean, Buddy Holly wasn't a thing yet.
No,
So-
we didn't know who he was.
No, but we knew Benny Goodman, and I guess they're going for the some kind of. No, it's not.
It's not
alliteration.
alliterative.
No,
I think it's just a character name that's weirdly similar to someone who would be famous.
very weird. Yeah. Buddy Hollis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It would be like if, like, in 1959, like, they put out a movie where, like, one of the main characters' names was, like, Paul McJartney.
Elvis Preston.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what. This is the laziest lion we've had since the first one. I'm not into it. All right.
No, he is lazy because in 5, I actually noticed a little bit more grit to the growl.
I agree. It was a more energetic lion, and then in this one,
Yeah.
it's back to.
Well, he's probably tranked. You got to remember that. I mean, they have to get this guy.
They all are, man.
Yeah, there's not great treatment back then, I'm sure.
Still, dude, I remember when Grumpy Cat came to visit Barnes & Noble, it was tranked to shit.
I don't think I was there at that point.
I think we were both gone. It was when other people were still working. Okay.
Grumpy Cat?
Yeah. So this was new director Edward Buzzell, who's a nobody, and written by Steve Fisher and Nat Perrin, who are both nobodies. This was released. They're contract players. Like, I'm sure if my dad went back and looked these people up on IMDb, he's seen random movies that they've been a part of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
This one came out December 28th, 1947, Henry, less than a month before my father's birth.
Oh, all right.
That's
Look
right.
At you. You figured it out, what year he was born.
I've known that always. My dad's 48, my mom's 53, my sister's 80, and I'm 86.
Okay. All right. So he's born in 48. All right. Interesting. All right.
The budget in this one was $1.67 million, and it only made $2.3 million. This was sort of there's a reason there's no more Thin Man ones after this one, because this didn't make money. It lost money. MGM took a $128,000 write down on this movie.
What does that mean?
It means that's how much they lost.
But that's what I thought you meant. But the box office was higher than the.
Yeah, but the budget is the production budget. It's not counting.
Oh yeah, great point. Yeah, okay, yeah, boy, they must have been pissed. All right.
Yeah. So let's get into it. This is the final Thin Man. It's bittersweet, Henry.
It's a little bittersweet. I think I had kind of wished I really, for the first time, and I know it's only been about the third one now, but directors, this guy, boy, Edward Buzzell, he just doesn't have the pacing, man. He doesn't know how to stage stuff. I felt like it was really I don't even know if I want to say workman-like. I mean, he's got a lot to work with here.
It's
with
choppy. It felt episodic, like weirdly edited and.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no flow to it. It's not that it's horrible. It's probably about as good as the fourth one or whatever. But it's just it didn't capture my imagination the way others did, and I felt like it put way too much of a focus on the guest cast, basically, to the detriment of Nick and Nora's screen time, and they are the only fucking people I care about.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot of side time with people we're not interested in. And I feel like he really kind of blew it, this director, because not that the script is great, but I think it could have been. I mean, he's given a perfect Thin Man scenario. I mean, the bunch of trapped people.
It's badly written, though. I don't want to totally blame it on the director, because, from moment one in this movie, there is the clunkiest fucking exposition. I mean, they're always giving you tons of exposition at the beginning, but it literally was in this movie. It's not even Nick and Nora. It's like strangers we've never seen before talking to each other, and it's like, hey, you hear that clarinetist? He's in love with the singer. And he's like, isn't that interesting? Because the singer had that thing with the conductor, remember that? And they got into a fight and broke up. I do remember that. But do you remember this? My head was going to explode.
and there is a little bit where you're kind of like, what movie am I supposed to be in? It felt like extremely generic, and it just shows you how valuable your two leads are in this movie. This is a two-hander, these movies, and especially if you're right, to open with that is not a good idea.
Listen, I complain that they separate Nick and Nora. I mean, to not put either of them on the screen, leave me alone.
Yeah, it was. I agree. Poor choice. Because I was interested, because I like the whole idea, the gambling and the cruise and the trap people. I thought we could have a really good thing going here, but it just wasn't utilized.
I wish the whole thing was on the cruise ship. I don't know. I feel like we should have done at least one locked room mystery in the Thin Man.
I agree, but I also think that, not to keep picking on him, but who cares? His last name is Buzzell. That. I thought the choreography was so poor that when they're actually off the boat and back into land sequences, I forgot that they were not on the boat. The rooms they were in, I was like, are we in a cabin still? And
because the boat doesn't look like a boat, dude. No. I mean, it's a set. It's a boat ballroom set. And we never really leave it. At one point we see them at the the railing of the boat, but like
Right.
there's no water to be found. There's no scope whatsoever, which would be fine if it was just like Nick and Nora walking around bantering. But it's just
Right.
it's all this shit. It's all right. Buddy Hollis is the clarinetist in the band on the cruise ship. He's obsessed with the singer. The singer's obsessed with the conductor. I talked about that. They get into a fight. The other thing we need to know about Buddy Hollis is that he is Henry. He has a condition. They keep referring to it as his condition, which is that he's an alcoholic.
Right. And I honestly, when he was first on screen and his hair was flipping around and he was all doing the old dipsy doodle, I thought they were going to say, when I got to that, I thought they were going to say like he was on heroin or something. I mean, like, I was thinking like, oh, okay, it's like a Charlie Parker, and they wouldn't name the drug because it's 1947, but they'd say something, and then it just turns out it's booze.
Well, I mean, it
And
could have
it's like-
been drugs in the original screenplay, and then they got censored or
Changed it.
something. But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
there
true.
was a thing back at this time that like you don't really hear about as much in AA meetings, but a long time ago, they would refer to people that were like really far gone, like hitting rock bottom in their alcoholism, as having wet brains, and that
Wet
was
brains.
perceived as being a thing that like, well, now you're done, like you've lost your capacity to think.
Yeah,
But like,
right.
I mean, it's bullshit. You could still get a person sober, like if they
Right.
want to be and do the work, but like.
Right.
I just this guy, they just treat him as like, well, he has wet brain. He doesn't know how to think anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I actually took it to be like sort of like I know I'm trying to think of there's a couple of famous baseball players who they say had this, but like drank to the point where it was just like alcoholic dementia.
Yeah,
Where, like they couldn't come back. Those guys, like they were just gone. Like, not that they couldn't stop drink, but like even if they did, it's irreversible damage. But I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, he's like 32.
he's like a
And it's like-
he's a regular guy. He's like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I proved that you could get pretty bad before you're 30.
No, but I mean, he's also performing his instrument like he's not.
But they
like,
say he only knows one song. Like he
Oh,
only
right.
remembers one song and he plays it over and over again.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah. It's bizarre. It is bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it goes to show you about if a movie like The Lost Weekend, you can contrast that with how it treats alcoholism with this movie, and it's like, oh,
right,
okay.
it's true. You can look at it as a product of its day, but we were already making like smart entertainments about that issue.
Yeah.
Henry, there's a murder upon this cruise ship, of course,
There is.
and it's just like a random guy. Well, what it is there's a guy who's supposed to be getting married the next day. And like, there's a whole nother soap opera subplot
Yeah,
off to the
it's too
side
much.
that we have to learn about. He's getting married the next day to this rich woman, and the dad disapproves. And then a guy gets murdered on the cruise ship, and we think that it's the dude who was supposed to marry the girl. And
Right.
and they run off and elope and come back into town where he's the prime suspect.
Yeah, and this movie set up with that plot is not helped by a syndrome that they still have in movies sometimes. I know you've said this before, where like the three main male suspects all look exactly the same. So every time, and it's in black and white, and they all have dark black hair, and I'm just like, wait, Tommy Drake.
I have
and
no idea
Bill-
if these are character actors that were known at the time, but they
Right.
don't seem like super famous. They seem like regular Hollywood contract players, and they all resemble each other. They all talk the same, and
Yes,
and
it's
everybody's
very
wearing
confusing.
suits, and
It was
it's
very
impossible.
confusing. Because in some of the other movies, they do at least give characters like certain very, very notable traits. And for these three players to all look and act and talk the same and dress the same, it's like, oh my God, I was confused. I was like, who is the blonde with now? Wait a minute. Who is
I
she?
felt like this was a Thin Man movie where, for once, the female guest characters were way better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I agree.
Because
I mean,
the woman who is supposed to be getting married to the suspect is really good. I
Yes,
thought
it
she
is.
was like genuinely like that's a good performance in this
Yeah.
movie.
And she's got like a cool look to her too. She like doesn't. She has like a very powerful presence.
Totally, yeah. I
Is
felt
that
like
Jane Meadows? I think I believe it is. Yeah, Jane Meadows. She played the Thayer. Whatever
yeah,
it is.
and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
doesn't look that dissimilar from Audrey Meadows from The Honeymooners, and I wondered whether
I'm
they might
looking
be
at it.
related.
Oh, you look at you! Wow, I would have never figured that out. Yeah, you're right. They do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's also Gloria Graham, who plays the singer.
Loved her.
And I
That's
thought
who
she
I'm-
was really fucking good. Like,
She was awesome.
beautiful in a weird way. And I was reading about her, and it's kind of a bummer because this was sort of the end of her career. She had been signed by MGM like 10 years earlier, and they put her in like a shit ton of movies. They were trying to make her like a big star, and the
Yeah.
movies just like didn't hit. And she like fell into these like smaller roles.
Oh,
And
yeah,
her
she
career
died.
went on for like ages. She was in like Oklahoma and shit. But like,
Okay, right.
yeah.
Yeah, she died. Kind
Wait,
of
she was-
young.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So like Blonde Fever is one. There's one called Without Love with Spencer Tracy. They put her in It's a Wonderful Life. They thought she was
Right.
gonna hit.
I remember her in It's a Wonderful Life. She's like the one who's like flirting all the time any chance she gets with Jimmy Stewart's character. She's like the town siren. But yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, she died young too. She's 57.
Yeah. The other one, Jane Meadows, Henry. Did you notice that we've covered her before?
Probably because I looked at her filmography in its entirety, but I don't.
She
remember
played
what-
Billy Crystal's mom in City Slickers.
Yeah, the voice, right? Don't we just see?
Oh, is she the one like Mitch?
isn't it? I think it is.
Are you going to
Yeah.
a dude ranch, Mitch? Are you playing weird sex games with your cowboy hat, Mitch?
Hey, we gotta get somebody famous. Let's get Jane Meadows.
That's
who's the voice of my
Billy.
mother.
That's Billy Crystal to a fucking T. We need a big
Yeah.
cameo there. Let's get the woman from Song of the Thin Man.
That was my Billy Crystal impression.
It was all right.
I mean, I imagine that's what he. Hey, let's get Jane Meadows. Let's see what she's up to.
All right, so
I'm calling.
let's follow them home, Henry, because they have the sons back. It's Nicky Jr. He's a little older in this one. Looks like he could be like maybe 6 or 8.
I'm not bad with that. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
So it's Dean Stockwell we talked about, which is bonkers, and he's a little kid. He's a little annoying, to be honest. I love Dean Stockwell. He turned into a good actor as an adult, but he's a little
Yeah.
annoying here.
Of course he is. He's a kid.
Let's talk about the spanking sequence, because it is one of the strangest sequences I have ever seen in a movie.
It's very odd. Yeah.
All right, so Nora wants Nick to spank his son. What did he do wrong? I don't remember.
I never discerned what he did wrong. She says go play the piano. He wants to play baseball outside. So he goes to sit on the piano, and then he still has his glove with him.
I
or
don't know.
something?
He's being a brat or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Nora wants Nick to spank him. Nick is like, what? Like, that's not a thing we do. This is the only time in 6 movies Nora has acted out of character.
Yeah, that's true. And then Nick has these weird. He's like got the kid over his knee.
Okay,
And he's
yes.
just having. Go
Uh,
ahead.
No,
Yeah.
no, you can describe it.
No, I mean I don't know. He starts having these visions, I guess, of him and his son having a great time and why he shouldn't.
And where are the visions taking place? All right, Nick has Nicky Jr. all across his lap, ready to spank the shit out of him. All right, just with his hand, right?
Yeah, but I think he gets doesn't he get like a newspaper eventually?
Yeah, probably. Like that's his spanking tool
His
of choice,
go-to.
as we learned in the last movie.
No paddles here. Yeah.
So he looks at his child's wee bottom, and on one of his little boy butt cheeks, we see a vision projected. His butt turns into a vision, And first, Nick sees himself in the hospital as Nora is presumably giving birth, handing out cigars in the waiting room to his friends, which is great. So then he snaps himself out of it. Okay, now it's time. I'm going to hit my child on his butt.
That's it.
But then he's looking at the butt again. We get another great close-up of Dean Stockwell's beautiful little denim-clad boy butt. And it turns into another vision. It is Dean Stockwell getting a haircut. It's his first haircut, Henry. Then we get to see another one. He's riding a bike. Nick is teaching him how to ride a bike.
Right.
All right, but then he snaps himself out of it good, and then it's time for a hard spank. And I'll tell you, it is a hard spank. It is, I would say, over 10 swats.
It was a lot of swats. Although, remember, in the vision, they're having fun teaching him how to ride a bike, but the kid laughs at Nick when he falls, and that's when Nick...
Oh, that's right. Nick...
he'd laugh at me. He laughed at me that one time. I don't know if these are future projections.
No. I think it literally is. Like, Nick is looking for the strength to beat his child in the ass.
Yeah.
And so he has to think. He thinks about it, and it's like, oh my God, he's been a perfect son. And then he remembers, like, one time I was embarrassed for 10 seconds. So I guess I'll take my hand and beat up my child's ass.
Yeah.
I'll hit him in his tiny little butt.
The kid takes it pretty well, and then he, like, gets up.
He doesn't, though. He gets up and he goes over and hugs his mom. And I'm like, don't hug her. This wouldn't have happened without her influence.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we didn't have to be treated to, like, some kind of, like, Little Rascals close-up of somebody bawling into the camera, which would have been intolerable.
No, I guess that's true. We do get some close-ups of Asta just, like, watching.
Yeah. Ever the voyeur.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, so then they learn of the death in a fun way, where the couple newly eloped show up at their doorstep.
Oh, yeah, that's weird stuff. Yeah.
And they haven't read about it in the newspaper yet, so, like, they're just acting like idiots.
Yeah. They show up at Nick and Nora's cabin or house.
It's an apartment. I don't know.
See, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to tell.
On the water?
And we're definitely not. No, Henry. We're not on the water because later we see Nick sneak back onto the cruise ship.
Right. I guess I'm saying, but when they escort that couple out, it looks like the corridor is like the corridor
and they
of a ship.
But they went to Vegas or whatever to elope.
Yeah, I guess it's just strange. It's just strange to put your head in. But anyway, they come to their house. They hide him in a closet. Obviously, Nick rats him out right away, hands him over to the cops.
But it's to protect him because someone tried to kill him. Someone tried to assassinate. It's not an assassination. Someone tried to murder him and failed. And so Nick thinks, like, they'll try again if he's not in prison.
Yeah, right.
Because he trusts the cops.
The bottle of scotch explodes, and there's a lot of jokes about that. Is that blood, Nick?
Oh,
Wish
yeah.
it were.
The dead guy, it turns out to be the conductor of the boat, and they find that he owed like $12,000 to the mob, and I'm like, really? You're now introducing the mob into this movie?
It's very odd. I mean, he's like a band leader or something, and that was hard to discern too, because there's like the guy that hires the band, there's the band leader, then there's the clarinet player, and there's the dame who was with two of them.
Right.
It was it was like, and I
she
don't
gets
know.
murdered eventually, that dame.
She does. I was sorry about that. That's Fran Page, the character, Fran Page.
Well, it's the one I was talking about before.
Yeah. The one with the really cool kind of.
She had a good nose.
Yeah, I mean, Gloria Graham.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Nick sneaks back aboard the ship with Asta. Let's talk about that. Before that, we get an Asta belching gag. A lot of Asta in this movie, and I thought this new dog handled himself well.
Oh, you appreciated this Asta more than in number 5.
I certainly did.
I noticed zero difference.
Well, I don't even know if it's a different Asta. Like, it might be the same dog, but he's way better in this one.
Well, maybe he had to work himself into the role.
Although, They
He had big
discovered
paws to fill.
they discovered oh my god, they discovered that Asta was good. This new Asta, he could do a little trick where he jumps on the bed, goes under the covers, and then pops out at the other end of the covers.
Right.
And so
right.
that we do that like 100 times in this movie.
Yeah. Because the dog trainer was probably the director's probably like, "What do you got?"
They
And he's
saw
like,
him do it, and
"Harassment you?"
this director Bazell saw that dog do it, and they were and he was like, "That's the movie."
Yeah. That's in the movie. Not only is it in the movie.
No, that is the movie.
That is the movie. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so Nick impersonates a police officer, which is a felony, and sneaks aboard the ship. Asta finds the evidence and grabs it and hides it in like a music case.
Right.
At one
Right.
point, a man shows up and tries to kill Nick. Asta, when he's running away with the evidence, do you remember he throws a knife at Asta? Someone
that
tries
was
to murder
hardcore.
Asta in this movie.
That was hardcore. He was a good shot. I mean, he nailed.
It
the
was
wall.
close, yeah.
It was real close call for Asta's ass there, and it's a piece of music.
Boy,
and,
the asses in this family are really at risk in this movie. Oh, Henry. They run into a room and find the musicians from like the cruise ship band, and you
That's a great sequence. Yeah.
they're
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like an early version of beatniks. They're using a lot of slang, and it's all like 1940s slang, and I didn't know what any of it meant.
Well, you were like me and Nick. We were all together in the same boat, literally. We didn't know what the fuck they were talking
But, like,
about.
I bet you that's a funny joke at the time. Like, I bet you in 1947,
Yeah,
the
of course.
audience understood the Beatniks and were laughing at Nick for not. Like, oh, what an old square Nick
Right.
is.
Them and Brett Ratner. They loved this sequence.
What are you talking about?
Brett Ratner.
What about Brett Ratner?
Skibbity bop, boop bop.
Oh, of course. He is a Beatnik. Okay, next we get a long sequence where no one's able to fall asleep. This goes on forever. It really does.
A lot of sequences in this really go on forever.
I mean, Nick is thinking about the crime, and then Nora's asking him too many questions, and then they're going to go to bed, and then they go to tuck in Nicky Jr., and it wakes him up, and he goes back into their bed, and then Nick has to put him back into bed, and then he says Asta can't sleep in the bed with him, so Asta goes to sleep in his own bed, but then when Nick leaves in the room, Asta jumps back on the bed.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does bring me back to thinking that I do think that Nick is going to definitely at some point suffer from sleep apnea, because no one will let this guy just get some shut eye for 5 fucking minutes. I mean,
It's true, man.
I know he loves his wife, but at a certain point,
He's retired.
Honey, I'm retired. I can't.
Like
Remember
the first movie, like Nora was like, she'd never seen this from him before. So
Right.
like he solves the crime and it's a fun thing, right? And then like in the second one, it's Nora's family. That's fine. Go ahead, solve the crime.
Right.
All right. And then, like, in the fifth one, I guess he's trying to impress his dad. But in all of these other ones, like, he doesn't need to be solving these crimes.
Nah, doesn't really need to be a part of it.
Leave it to the cops. He trusts them.
Yeah, they're, but that's also they're obviously, which is the great part. They're always incompetent idiots. Did you like
Just
the
like in
two
real life.
cops? Did you like the Callahan and the McGrory cops talking about the ham sandwich?
I knew you'd like that. I didn't know what was going on in that scene.
Did I? It's the bumbling idiot Irish flatfoot. Oh my God, so good. We had to call him Callahan too. Just had to do it.
Well, we could have said O'Brien.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Nick decides at 4 a.m, since he can't sleep, he's going to go over and surprise the Thayers, which are the couple, and ask them some questions because he thinks like they'll be sleepy and they won't know to lie. It's such a weird plan. And
4 a.m. is a good time to catch somebody off their guard.
Right, that's right. Good line. And so they show up at it's like 4:30 a.m. Nora goes with him. Meanwhile, the fucking kid, Nicky Jr., says, "Will you drive me to school in the morning?" And they promise, "We'll both drive you to school," and then immediately just leave again.
Hey, they have a new maid.
A white woman, I noticed.
Uh-oh.
Something happened. Well, maybe they got tired of that other person being borderline fucking the dumbest person that's ever existed. Okay, so they're there. They're awake. It's 4:30 a.m. The dad's awake. They find some clues. They ask some questions, and there's a phone call, and that's a big deal. And so they have to like follow them around after the phone call. And what ends up happening is they find that Buddy Hollis, who they've been looking for, has gone missing. He's upstate at a rehab in Poughkeepsie.
He sure is. He sure is. Yeah, yeah. I was interested to see that. I was actually looking forward to, like, what is this place going to look like? But
Now, as a concierge, Henry, I of course love to judge concierges in film. And I felt that Mr. Purdy, the concierge in the rehab facility, was very competent, and I appreciated it. But then when Nora snuck back in, I judged him a little bit.
yeah, that was. I mean, she just goes right in there. Yeah. I get it. You have to maintain a firm hand, do you? Do you do that too? Like, sorry, we can't.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's not keeping a firm hand: these alcoholics.
Over there at the Poughkeepsie Shaky Trees.
Yeah.
He's over there at Shaky Trees.
That's a good. Yeah, Shady Acres was the one in Ace Ventura. Remember?
Yeah, so this has got to be like Shaky Trees.
Sure.
The Shaky Leaf. The Shaky
The
Leaf.
Shaky Leaf. Yeah. No, that just sounds like a bar. So Buddy Hollis is in rehab, and they he immediately reacts poorly to all the men, but he thinks Nora is this one woman who has been visiting him, who turns out to be Gloria Graham, right?
Yeah.
So they leave, and Nora's plan is she's going to turn around and go back by herself on a little mission. But first we get a scene in a diner, which I enjoyed, where when the waitress delivers their food, Asta, of course, sitting at the table with them.
Yes.
She's the waitress says, "Who gets the bone?" And Nick looks at her and goes, "I do." Fucking weirdo.
Everything's a joke to Nick. That's
I
how
know.
he gets through life.
So Nora goes to the rehab and finds Buddy Hollis and talks to him. But then fucking Buddy Hollis loses his mind and when he realizes she's not who she says she is, and grabs a gun and shoots Nora.
Right.
And we get this really insane, poorly directed sequence of like Nora like getting shot at.
Yeah. And then everybody rushes in, and then
it looks like Batman, where like you see like 9 of her heads like circulating the screen.
Yeah. And then I think it's Nick who asks the concierge / doctor of Shady,
Dr. Purdy.
Dr. Purdy of Shaky
Mr.
Leaves.
Purdy, he's not a doctor.
Oh, okay, Mr. Purdy of Shaky Leaves. How is it? A very reasonable question to ask. How is it that your patients have access to firearms? That is none of your business. This is a sanitarium, not a prison.
Well, I don't think he hid it under his pillow. I think he's trying to cover his ass there. He didn't know about it.
Well, I mean,
security was lax in the 40s, man.
That's pretty lax, man. That's a big gun. I mean, it's not like it's
not that big. It's a little handgun. It's not like it's the fucking sniper rifle the guy pulled out of his ass in the last movie.
I thought it was a big long rifle.
I didn't think so. I thought it was a little. It would fit under his pillow, dude.
Oh, all right, good point. For some reason I had a vision that it was. Well, still, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't think that would be permitted, but hey, whatever gets you better.
So then, what I think is the best part of the movie, they start to suspect Miss Thayer of being the killer, And Nora calls at home because she just got shot at, and it scared her, and she wants to hear her son's voice, which I thought was a nice moment, actually. And
Yeah, she does call just to hear. That was like a rare moment, a pause in comedy.
yeah, and a rare moment of one of Nick and Nora actually parenting.
From afar.
From afar, of course. So Nora calls, and the maid stepped out and left Nicky Jr. alone with Miss Thayer.
Yeah.
First of all, they should never have fired Bessie or whatever her name was.
Yeah,
And fucking... so they freak out, and then they have to like take a train home where like there's an amazing sequence actually where like they're on the train, of course, in like the pet part because they can't sit
Yep.
among normal people because they've asked
Right.
to. And Nora is just like fraught with tension, like just
Yeah.
worried, like she just has to get home.
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they're like, and it actually is one of the few sequences in any 6 of the movies with like true dramatic tension where like she's
It is
sitting
tense.
there.
There's
and
stakes.
He's counting, like, yeah, and he is not making light of it. He's like counting down the minutes, like how long is it to the home and all that. And it's interesting, and it's good staging in that sequence because they're in a baggage cart, so there's no comfort. There's no physical comfort
Right.
either.
True.
Yeah.
And so they get back, and it turns out that lady's not the killer, and it gets diffused pretty quickly. So it's kind of like a fizzle. It's a great setup that fizzles out. But
Yeah.
so then Nick, he decides he's going to throw a party on the boat, and you're like, oh, he's throwing this party because he's figured this shit out.
Oh yeah. Of course.
And I checked the time, and we're down to 11 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've
I'm
been
like,
doing
what
that, too.
the fuck? It's always 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, yeah. They went to the very end here, and this is a shorter one.
And
I think.
he's first setting up the party at 11 minutes, and I'm like, when are they
okay.
gonna like fucking do this?
Yeah.
And so it's like with 6 minutes to go, Buddy Hollis gets up there and starts performing his clarinet song, and Nick says like, after the song, Buddy Hollis is gonna say who the killer is.
Right.
And so that leads to a lot of tension in the audience and shit. That's all right. And then the wife of the killer gets up or who is it? She murders her husband right there in front of everybody. The husband confesses to the murder, right?
Yeah, he's the gambler who was going to lend the original band leader $12,000. He's the guy who was going to contract.
They're
all
the
these
most
people.
boring of all the boring characters in this
Yeah.
movie. Nick twice shows an attraction to the woman, and Nora side-eyes him, and that's like the only thing we learn about these people the entire movie.
Yeah, not much, and then she wears expensive necklaces.
Yeah, so
yeah.
he's the killer, and then she gets up and murders him.
For no reason at all. He's the killer. She didn't do anything, and she kills him just because she's mad that he.
Yeah, I mean, in a crime of passion.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we cut back to the apartment. We get to see asked to do that bed thing one more time, and that's the end of the movie.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And
What do you give it?
I'm giving it 3.
You're still giving it a 3. I'm gonna go 2. There were things I
that's
liked
fair.
about it, but this is a lesser Thinman.
It is. I haven't given any of these 2. I mean, this was a candidate, as was 4, the 4th one, but it's still got enough charm in it that I think it's a 3-star movie. But I totally understand the 2.
Okay, who's your MVP?
Gloria Graham. I thought she was amazing.
I'm also going with her. I thought she was great.
Oh, yeah, that was a no-brainer for me. My LVP is Edward Buzzell, because I know you think I'm being harsh on him.
I'm just
but
going with the husband of the killer.
the killer.
The killer. Because the wife at least had the 2 things with Nick. Like, the husband was just like a fucking nobody until at the end of the movie turns out to be the killer.
No, you're right, and we've encountered
It's the
that before
least
in a couple-
interesting choice of killer possible.
Yeah, we've had that happen in a couple of these movies, but like
I
in
think
the
just
fifth
like one other one. But yeah,
well, the 5th one, it's a great twist with having,
that's a good. The doctor thing
Yeah.
works. The whole thing with the
Yeah.
lie about the autopsy was genuinely
Yeah.
interesting.
It was, and he was an unlikely candidate, just the way he looked, and that was like a visual gag in itself. So
Yeah.
yeah, all right.
Superhero
I
count.
do-
You said you had one.
I do. Here we go, folks. That's John Williams' theme for Superman.
Superman
you
the
people.
movie, full title.
Superman. I got 3.
3? Really? Okay.
I know. Dean Stockwell.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What, like The Flash or something?
No, this is weird because he's old. And Tim Drake he played in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
Well, it's
Maybe an
Batman
older-
Beyond, my friend. He's
older.
older, yeah.
Yeah. That's Robin to you non-nerds out there.
It's
Tim
Robin
Drake.
3, of course.
Right. After Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. All right.
Of course. Took the mantle after Jason Todd was killed by the Joker with a crowbar. Death in the family.
Doesn't a family issue, but art by Jim Aparo, written by Jim Farlow.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
He also played Preston Carpenter in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. Okay. Next, Ralph Morgan, the actor who played David Thayer, the
boring guy, my LVP.
No.
Oh, no. The husband, the guy who got married.
father of the woman.
Oh, the
who he-
father. Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
In the phone sequence, I know.
Yeah, I thought he was good, actually, in that sequence.
Yeah, he's
Threatening.
good. Threatening, yes. He played J.P. Morton, which I can only imagine was a knock on J.P. Morgan,
I guess.
in a serial in 1941 called Dick Tracy versus Crime Inc.
Amazing. Yeah. He played JT Marlin.
Yeah, exactly. Marie Windsor, who was Helen Amboy, the woman at the end, who you're talking about with the
necklace?
killed. Yeah,
okay.
Marie Windsor. She was Helen Amboy. I like this one. She was in Batman, 1966, the TV show, in 2 episodes, Green Ice and Deep Freeze. I would imagine.
I wonder who's the villain.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Freeze.
I don't think he had the accent back then.
I think it'd have been great if he did, though.
No, Mr. Freeze was cool. I love Mr. Freeze in the Batman Adam West show, and Mr. Freeze on the animated series is the fucking best. Mr. Freeze used to rule until Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I like him in a couple of comics, but I don't remember him in the Batman TV series at
pretty-
all.
He's pretty fun.
Okay.
Look him up.
All right.
All right.
Lastly, she played Belle Starr in the episode Sideshow 1980 of The Incredible Hulk.
Belle
So she got
Starr?
Yeah.
Isn't that
In
like a newspaper strip character? I'm thinking of Brenda Starr. Sorry.
No idea. She was in The Incredible
Don't you
Hulk.
remember
though.
Brenda Starr? They made a movie of that too. Brooke Shields played her.
Who the fuck is Brenda Starr?
She was
I've
like a
never heard-
newspaper strip detective.
Oh, wow. No, I never heard of it. Don't know.
All right. Well, you might have skipped over that. That's a superhero account, Brenda Starr. All right,
Sure.
Henry. Let's wrap up. Dad, great talking to you. What do we have? Let's
gotta
rank.
rank.
We got to rank the Thin Mans. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go front to back because we're all gonna put the first one as the best.
Okay. All right. So the best, starting at the best,
Yeah.
right, is The Thin Man.
Agreed.
Okay. The second best Thin Man movie
Uh-huh.
is The Thin Man Goes Home.
Interesting. I'm gonna say the second best is After the Thin Man, the second one with Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart elevates it.
He does. All right. Well, the third best Thin Man I actually have as the third Thin Man, which is what is that called?
Another Thin Man.
Another Thin Man. Thank you. Another Thin Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my third favorite is The Thin Man Goes Home.
Okay. All right. I'm liking that. The fourth best Thin Man is the second one, which is After.
Yeah, that's
Thin
the Jimmy Stewart one. And my fourth favorite is Another Thin Man. The
Okay.
Long Island one.
My least No, sorry. The fifth best Thin Man
The
is
second worst.
The second worst Thin Man is the last one, Song of the Thin Man.
Boy, I'm really between those last two. I never really decided. I'm gonna say that I agree. The last one's the second to worst.
All right, and the worst Thin Man is Shadow of the Thin Man.
Yeah. That's the bottom of the barrel, man. They needed that 4-year break. I'm glad they had it.
Yeah, I mean, you get Stella Adler. You can check her out in one of her 3 movies that she ever made. That's
Hey, I watched part of an episode of the TV show. Can I talk about that real quick? I found it on YouTube.
Yeah. When was that made?
So they made a Thin Man TV show in the late 50s, I think.
Right. Okay.
Can you look it up who the actors were and shit?
Yeah.
Because it was just like the only regulars on the show were Nick and Nora, and then it said and Asta, and I was like, well, obviously I know that's bullshit.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Wow, 72 episodes.
Well, in 72 episodes through 2 seasons. That's just how
Right.
many episodes they made per season.
Oh my God, Peter Lawford.
Yeah,
Who's in
he
it?
plays Nick, and he sucks.
Does he really?
Yeah,
That's JFK's brother-in-law.
I don't care. And Phyllis Kirk plays Nora, and she's even worse.
I don't know her at all.
She is just
Yeah.
wallpaper in this fucking movie. And the episode I watched was available because they put it on the special edition DVD of Forbidden Planet. Because what happens is Nick goes to visit a friend of his, of course, one of his many friends, who's an inventor. And he's invented a robot who is played by Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet. And then they go to bed, and overnight someone's murdered, and then the next day Nick thinks it's Robbie the Robot. And I don't know who it actually was because I didn't watch the whole thing.
Wow, that sounds like quite the departure from. So
It's really not. They're going for the same thing. It's bantery, and they're solving a murder. It's just
but it's
sucks.
50, so we have to do like robots and shit.
They loved robots. They really did.
really
and
were
of
obsessed
course,
with
pronounce it robot.
Robot. Yeah, Peter Lawford. We covered him in Ocean's 11. And
I think I liked him more in that.
Sure, but I can't see him do. I mean, nobody can. Come on, man. Nobody can do these. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
I think now you can find someone, and I really,
Yeah,
I think
now you could.
this is ripe for a reboot. Actually,
I think you're right.
I really think they should.
The ingredients, though, really have to be accurate, man.
You know what you got to do? Do it as a TV show, a procedural TV show, and every episode you do like 6 episodes a season, and each one is a self-contained mystery with maybe like an ongoing thing.
Yeah, there you go. I think it could work. Maybe Netflix or Hulu or somebody could do something like that.
Yeah. Do it like that. Do it like British mystery shows, but
It's got to have a snappy writer. It's got to have like an Aaron Sorkin almost.
Yeah,
So
you
like,
need a guy like that who can write banter.
Mamet. Yeah,
Not
and a
Mamet.
director.
Come on, he's not fun. You need someone who's fun.
That's true. He's not fun.
Yeah, he
But he's
sucks the
funny.
fun out of shit.
He's funny, but
Mamet's the only guy who's like, I'm gonna make a fucking martial arts movie, and it's gonna be the most boring thing you've ever sat through.
I like that movie.
It's okay. It's
Red
good
Belt,
because of
yeah.
Chiwetel
Yeah.
Ejiofor. All right, Henry. Let's wrap up. Fucking
Yeah.
great talking about the Thin Man. This was fun. Genuinely.
It was. I loved going back to an era we've never touched on, and an era that I've never really had much experience watching. So I really, really liked
Yeah,
it. It was
and I
terrific.
I loved the first one. I already knew that, and I wasn't expecting to like the sequels as much as I did.
Me neither, and none of them were like really
Torture.
a chore. No, and I haven't been able to say that for quite a while. So that was really nice. So I definitely want to thank Dan's dad, and thank the listeners too for sticking with us. And
People liked it. I think I got more than one email, and not meaning 2, like a bunch, saying like cover more old movies. You're doing a good job.
Good.
Lately we've been trying shit out. Like a few people said we should do more costume dramas too, and I'm like, unfortunately, there's not a lot of franchises.
Elizabeth, right? That was
Yeah.
that was a fun one. Yes, I'm glad you got a lot of emails, Dan. I got none. none. So let's.
Well,
pick
I
that
also
up.
got text messages. I recently I revealed my phone number on a Patreon episode. So some of the patrons text me now.
Okay, that's your prerogative. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
very good.
Sort of
Good.
spur of the moment. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it's good talking to some of you.